And this story blew my mind. And I realized the message in this story can really bless those that are dealing with the pain of disappointment from love, right? But we're going to get into that. For those of you who are new, my name is Nailah Abdullah. Welcome. I'm a toxic relationship coach. My career background is in mental health therapy, and I pivoted into toxic relationship coaching after going through my own personal experiences with toxic relationships, family and romantic relationships. I'm also the founder and creator of the Relationship Detox. That is the course that I created that is giving you the essential tools in order to move on. If you know me by now, you know I always say a breakup from a toxic and narcissistic relationship is not a normal breakup, and it can come along with almost the same amount or maybe even more pain, chaos, struggle after the relationship compared to what you experienced during the relationship. So this course gives you all of the tools and some of the support that you need to make sure that you're not stuck in the aftermath of a toxic relationship. So if that's something that you think that you're interested in or that you would benefit from, go ahead and comment detox. Even if you're watching the replay to this, go ahead and comment detox, and I'll go ahead and send that link to you to see if it's a good fit, so you can get some more details about it. So today, again, we're going to be talking about what happens when you are disappointed by love, right? So this is for you if you are on your way out of a relationship that you have deemed as toxic or narcissistic. And, you know, and I can relate because I was in one for 10 years. Besides the toxic and narcissistic family relationships, I was in a toxic romantic relationship for 10 years. And I remember one of the things that hurt the most is that I was disappointed. I was disappointed that I poured so much of my time, so much of my effort, so much of my energy into a relationship that ended up failing. And not only did it fail in the sense that it didn't last anymore, but it failed in the sense where I felt like I should have known better. I should have made a change faster. Like, why did I stick around so long? And there was so much disappointment in the relationship, in the other person, because I had better expectations from them. You know, disappointment in myself that I tolerated certain behaviors for so long, that I stayed there so long. So when you're coming out of these relationships, there's a lot of disappointment. And that's what we're going to be talking about today because, you know, again, these relationships, when they end, they're not normal breakups. And there's so much baggage that comes along with it. And you can drag that baggage on for years if you don't know how to deal with it. If you don't have the tools to analyze the baggage, break it down, and release it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The story that I heard that brought me to this topic today that I want to share with you and bring this message home is there is a woman who has a sister in another state. And their relationship was okay, but shaky at times. Nevertheless, she would help this sister, send the sister money, when the sister would be struggling in the other state. And the sister was also a real estate agent, but not doing too well. So in order to help the sister, this particular woman had some friends from church that was interested in moving. And she referred the friends to get into contact with her sister to get, you know, see if they can get some type of business and have a win-win situation, right? And after a while, she noticed these church friends of hers or acquaintances started acting different towards her. And it got to the point where it was very obvious that, you know, she came to the conclusion that her sister must have been bad talking her to these people, right? And the sister and the church acquaintances actually got close, where the church people went and visited her sister in the other state. And she's like, well, what is going on? Fast forward, the sister started posting things on social media about how these people are better to her than her own sister. So to sum it all up, apparently this sister had some, maybe jealousy. I don't know what it is, but this woman was broken, right? And she was broken, one, that her sister would turn her own friends against her, right? She was broken that her friends would be manipulated by her sister against her. She was hurt by the fact that her sister was not appreciative of the help that she was giving her, the financial help that she was giving her, the fact that she referred these people to her, the fact that the sister was posting things about her on social media, and very cruel things. And basically the sister, because the sister was not getting her way, kind of like a child, right? When we're talking about toxic people, they can act very much like toddlers. They throw tantrums. The fact that the sister was not getting as much money as she wanted to get out of this woman, she started, spreading rumors and on social media about her. And as I'm hearing this story, and now, I'm hearing the story about the woman being so disappointed, and the sister disappointed in the friends, disappointed that she's tried to be a good sister to her, help her send the money to the other state. And as I'm hearing this, I'm like, this hurts. I get it. But where I think people go wrong in trying to heal from these types of situations and toxic family, toxic husbands, toxic boyfriends, partners, whatever it is that we stay fixated on the disappointment, and we don't see the blessing in the exposure. Write that one down. We stay fixated in the disappointment, and we don't see the blessing of the exposure. We're human, so we are going to feel pain. Don't ever think that I'm here to tell you not to feel pain. We feel pain during the toxic relationship. We can feel pain after. Even after you've healed, if something comes up and triggers something, it can be like, wow, that hurts. We're human. We're not here to be robotic. However, in order for us not to be stuck in the aftermath of a toxic and narcissistic relationship, which is my main focus here. That is what the Relationship Detox is about. That is what my content is about. That's what everything is about, not being stuck. Because some of us know how to get out. Some of us don't even want to get out, but the person maybe let us go, but we stay stuck. We're not in the relationship, but we're still broken. We still feel sadness. We feel guilt. We feel anger, and we're not really able to move on and live fully in peace, right? And to form new relationships, to trust other people again, to trust ourselves again, right? So that person is still breaking you, even though you don't even have the title of being in the relationship. So going back to my point, we sometimes stay fixated on the disappointment rather than seeing the blessing in the exposure. It is a blessing when people expose who they are. So we've already established that, yes, it is painful. Sit in that pain. That is normal, right? We don't want to sit there forever, but embrace it, sit in it, feel it. But simultaneously, we have to say, it is a blessing that people are showing me who they are. It is a blessing that this sister showed this woman who she is. Because you can spend the rest of your life trying to help this sister, not knowing that she really hates you. People can take your help. People can be nice to you and still hate you. And a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't understand that. So they get confused when someone's being nice, but then they do something to hurt them. Or they're going, it's usually a roller coaster, right? It's usually up and down. It's a little bit of sprinkle of salt and pepper, sprinkle of good treatment, bad treatment, good treatment, bad treatment. And people get confused, and people stay in these relationships so long because they're like, oh, well, they were nice to me. Oh, they did do this for me. Not knowing that people can still hate you, even though they are smiling at you, laughing with you, taking your help, giving you help. But the moment something goes wrong between you two, or they throw a tantrum, then they expose themselves and they show really who they are. That is a blessing. You can be hurt. You can be crying. But you can also say, thank you, God, for the exposure. And in this story that I'm telling you, not only was the sister exposed, she exposed who she was, but the friends also exposed who she was, who they are. Exposure is a blessing, right? So I want you to, when you think about your particular situation, yes, we can feel pain. Another key is compartmentalizing. It helps us to be able to compartmentalize the pain from the lesson. Just because you feel pain doesn't mean you can't learn a lesson. Just because you feel pain doesn't mean you can't accept the lesson. Just because you feel the pain doesn't mean you can't act on the lesson. What's an example of acting on the lesson? Now that I know who you are, I'm going to have to treat you accordingly, even if it hurts me. That's compartmentalizing. Sometimes we think because we feel pain, we have to prioritize soothing that pain rather than acting on the lesson. Let me give you an example. In this particular story that I just gave you, soothing the pain could look like, I'm going to reach out to my sister and try to figure this out. Now, I'm not saying we can't work on relationships and rekindle things. However, when someone shows you the hate they have for you, that's not a relationship to rekindle. There's a difference between a disagreement, a misunderstanding, versus you trying to sabotage me, trying to break me, and you showing me how much you truly hate me, right? When the reaction to the disappointment is disproportionate. Because I disappointed you and I didn't send you the amount of money that you expected to get from me, now you are on social media trying to sabotage me. That doesn't match up. That's disproportionate, right? If I don't answer your phone for a few days, your phone call for a few days, maybe that's something, right? That's a little bit more proportionate to the situation, right? But trying to really break someone, sabotage someone, damage their reputation, right? That's disproportionate to a falling out, to a disagreement, right? Trying to turn your friends against you, right? So we have to be able to understand, one, the difference between a conflict or something that can be salvaged versus, oh, you hate me, right? So going back to being able to compartmentalize the pain from the lesson, not prioritizing soothing the pain, right? So I'm going to try to soothe the pain. I'm going to call these friends and try to talk to them and figure out what my sister said. I'm going to call the sister and maybe I'll send her more money. I'm going to try to make things right. You're trying to soothe the pain, but you're ignoring the lesson. The lesson is that they expose themselves. God is showing you these people are not really for you. There was a case a few months ago, I don't know if you've seen it, you probably have, where this girl, a young woman, went on vacation, I think it was to Mexico, right, with her group of friends, and they ended up killing her. I don't remember the full story. I think they had a disagreement, they got into a fight, and the girl ended up dying. And come to find out, they were all really jealous of her. She had superseded them in her financial growth. She had a business, and she surpassed her friends, so she was in a completely different financial bracket out of them, and they were jealous of her, right? And I'm 100% certain that these friends had already shown their jealousy. They had already exposed themselves. This Mexico trip was not the first time they exposed themselves. It was the last time, because now it got so far where she ended up getting hurt and dying, right? We cannot focus to prioritize soothing the pain. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it hurts. I get it. But don't prioritize trying to coddle that pain that you ignore the lesson of exposure. When people expose themselves, compartmentalize that. Understand that you can feel the pain, but learn the lesson at the same time. And then again, now you need to act on the lesson. What is the lesson? This person is showing me who they are, so now I need to act and I need to deal with them accordingly to who they are. Whether that means completely remove yourself, Partially, take an inventory of mutual friends that you have and make sure that, maybe they're not the same as those friends. You need to do take some inventory now in your circle. Anyone that's connected to that person that is exposing themselves, right? And then the next step, the final step, is acceptance. Accepting the lesson that you got. Because sometimes we learn a lesson and we get upset, we get angry. I can't believe they did this. Now I see who they are. But some time passes and then we forget like it never happened. People's hate don't go away. Okay? So in this story that I shared with you, yes, it is about family, it is about friends, but it also applies to toxic and narcissistic relationships, because those people also are they are attached to you, but they don't have a genuine love for you because they can't genuinely love. They're attached to you, or they were attached to you for their benefit, right? There's an underlying hate there that they actually do show, some of them more boldly than others. Some of them are much more covert in it, depending on them, their personality, and depending on you. They know if they're too open with it that you will just pack up your bags and go. So they have to mask it a bit. But understand that people can hate you even if they are in a relationship with you. Okay? And when you see it, when they expose themselves, count it a blessing. Count it a blessing. Feel the pain. The pain is going to be there. But don't ignore the lesson. Don't ignore the lesson of the exposure. And don't fail to act on the lesson. Act on the lesson. Don't just take the hair. Oh, this is who they are. And then you just go right back to the way things were. That's not wise. That's not wise. That's keeping you stuck either in the relationship. You can still be stuck after the relationship and attached to that person. Still, they can still affect you even though the relationship is technically over, right? Because you are choosing not to act on the lesson, act on the wisdom that you now have. All right? Don't let that lesson go in vain. Don't. I hope that this message blessed you. This was a short message for you today. But if you are in a space where you are coming out of a toxic or narcissistic relationship, you have already ended the relationship or they ended it, right? You feel the pain. You understand that this is not a normal breakup. You don't want to be stuck there too long. You don't have to be. There's some things we don't have control over. One of the things we do have control over is how we navigate the aftermath of a toxic or narcissistic relationship. So if you don't want to be stuck there too long, go ahead and comment the word detox. I will go ahead and send that link to you for the Relationship Detox. That is my course where you will learn the tools on how to let go of that pain, let go of a lot of the emotional baggage that comes along, the guilt, the anger, the feeling of betrayal, the loss of sense of self, right? Because being in those relationships, you start to lose who you are, and coming out, you're like, where do I start to rebuild myself, right? There's a whole, unfortunately, aftermath that comes along with these relationships. So go ahead and send that. I see you, Sharon. I'll send it right over to you. Check your DMs. All right. And even if you are watching the replay, go ahead and comment detox, and I will go ahead and send that information over to you. And if you have any questions, know that I'm always available in my DMs to answer any questions, whether it be on the Relationship Detox or anything else. All right? All right, ladies, y'all have a blessed Sunday, and I will see you soon.